if I'm playing in the event, I'm going to try and beat you. I'm there to get a W. Okay, so I don't understand that making a cut's a great thing. If I enter the event, it's always to get a W, and there will come a point in time when my body will not allow me to do that anymore, and it's probably sooner than later. But wrapping my head around that transition and being an ambassador role and just playing and just trying to be out here with the guys, no, that's not in my DNA.
Tiger coming to play, and play he will with this marquee grouping, including pal and business partner Rory McIlroy and his good friend Justin Thomas. They get their first round started tomorrow, 3:04 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, Golf Central pregame at 3 p.m. This is Golf Today. Damon Hack alongside Rex Hoggard. Buddy, you had a great idea this morning to look at Tiger's swing then and Tiger's swing this morning in his Pro-Am.
When you think about the history of Tiger Woods in this event, and it's hard to wrap our minds around it, but the guy on the left and the guy on the right have the exact same number of victories at Riviera.
What number is that?
0. It's a statistical impossibility that he would have been in 1992, the 140-pound high school, I think he was a sophomore at the time, maybe a junior, and yet everything he had ahead of him, somehow he hasn't won here, and yet he's still chasing it. We just heard that sound. He showed up to win. I don't know what the expectations are for everyone else, but I love the fact that Tiger's mind is still in the same place it's always been.
The 0 for 14, one of the great outliers in his incredible resume. How about the body change as well? Back then, he had that kind of Hank Aaron, young, wisp body that could send the ball a million miles, that power, that youthful, limber frame.
Well, I loved back then in '92, he talked about getting to that first tee, not really feeling any nerves until he actually took the club back. Got to the top of the swing, felt like it was 8 tons. I'm curious what it's going to feel like tomorrow morning. Because I married a girl from New Orleans. Okay. And so I picked up a lot of things that they say, and they call it lagniappe in New Orleans. This is something added. This is something extra. I don't think any of us expected him to play this week. This is lagniappe for all his fans.
Some might call it gravy as well. From 1992 to 2023, Tiger on the tee this morning in his Pro-Am today. This is the second hole now. Missed the green short. Let's take a look at the short game. Rex, what do you see?
We're going to start seeing it as these highlights go on, but the wind's coming up. The wind's been blowing all week long, and reading some of the transcripts yesterday, it seems like the rough is up this year as well at Riviera. It's going to be a challenging test for him.
Yeah, a lot of interest in his game, of course, now as we look ahead to the third. This is interesting about his game, but it's more about the walk as well. We'll be watching how he's moving on this Wednesday. How does his body look? How does it feel? Here's the putt now. Let's see how he's moving.
I think the one thing that we have seen that has become the norm as he tries to play his way back into shape. Yesterday, just hit some balls on the range. Took it easy. Today, he's easing his way back into the round. I think that's going to be the MO for him going forward because, as we say in baseball, he's going to have a pitch count.
Yeah, and always interesting to watch his kind of distance control with the flat stick here. A wonderful roll of the putter at the 5th. And, you know, maybe not as many fans out there this morning than you might expect. I think Angelinos are a little bit soft. I'm an Angelino. I can say this, Rex.
I was going to ask you, like, what's going on out here? How come you're not representing? This is Tiger Woods playing. Who knows how many times we're going to be able to watch him play in this event. His event, not far from where he grew up. It's a special week.
Yeah, 44 degrees in L.A. That's like a snow day on the East Coast. Here he is now at 7.
We talk a lot about Tiger Woods now in this context, that there is an institutional knowledge that goes beyond the idea, okay, can he physically make it around 18 holes, 72 holes?
Right.
We've seen the swing. We know the swing's still there. It's the institutional knowledge, especially on this golf course. 15 start here. He knows how to play it.
He does.
It's a matter of if he can play it.
Yeah, a couple of runner-up finishes, 1998 to Billy Mayfair. That was at Valencia, then 1999 runner-up finish to Ernie Els. Well, Kira K. Dixon has been on the ground this morning watching Tiger's Pro-Am. Kira, what are your observations?
Well, the first thing that Tiger said to me this morning was, oh my God, it's cold. It was a bit of a chilly start, an early start for Tiger Woods and several members of the media, if I do say so myself. He started his day at about 3 a.m., got to the course by 5 a.m., did a 45-minute gym session, then went down to the range, warmed up for a bit, and then was first off at 6:30. And guys, I'm not exaggerating. It was extremely cold, extremely windy. So in seeing how well he was swinging the club in terms of the conditions that we had this morning, it was extremely impressive. I walked with him for a bit, and he said, the body feels good. The main thing that he worries about is inflammation in his ankle. If he can get that inflammation down, then he feels like he can compete with the best of them. And everything else is really, really coming together in terms of the taping setup on his ankle. He's figured that out. He's got that down. Maybe a bit rusty in terms of just not getting those competitive rounds under his belt recently. But other than that, he seemed extremely confident. I asked him about the setup, and he said that Riv is as perfect as he's ever seen it. The rough is not as up as he thought it was going to be. Rex, I know you said that it was pretty high stuff, but he thought it was going to be even more challenging. I saw him throw a bunch of balls down the runoff areas. They were just rolling off the greens, so it's certainly going to play quite challenging for players. I asked him how involved he is with the setup as the tournament host. He said, generally, when I'm not playing, I'm extremely involved with the setup, but as soon as he decided he was going to play, which he told me was a few weeks ago, he immediately removed himself from that process, and it's, again, as perfect as he's ever seen it. And in terms of the swing, guys, feeling really good. It was, again, extremely impressive considering how early he was out here this morning. And I saw him hit a 7-iron out of deep rough into strong wind, shaping it left to right around a tree and put it to 8 feet. So I would say so far so good.
Pretty good start for his Pro-Am, but how's he moving, Kira? The big walk down the hill at 44 degrees in Los Angeles. How's his body moving, in your opinion?
Yeah, the body was moving great. The walk seemed very fluid. In the past, he's had a bit of a kind of like a pigeon toe movement to that leg because of everything that he's been through. But it was pretty straightened out, and not much of a noticeable limp. It seemed like he was walking around pretty much like a normal golfer, and the swing was extremely fluid. The members of his team said, yeah, this is legit. He's legitimately feeling really good, and everybody that was watching and was there kind of had that same sentiment that he's swinging the club, maybe not to his exact standards, but fairly fluid and really good considering everything that he's been through and how early it was out here this morning.
Kira K. Dixon reporting from Riviera. Tiger, by the way, making his way to the drivable par 4 10th hole. Rex, how about that 3 a.m. wake-up call for a 6:30 a.m. Pro-Am, going to the gym, waking his body up, as it were, to get ready for a long day and what he hopes is a long week.
He's talked about this a lot. This is the new norm for Tiger Woods. I mean, it takes a lot to get him ready for a round of golf. I know the NFL gave out MVP awards last week, but I want to give out 2 this morning. One to our own Kira K, who was out there early, right before, even without a jacket on, as you pointed out. It was quite chilly. And the other one's got to go to Tiger's training staff. I mean, I talked about it yesterday, but I don't think you can dismiss the idea of everything he has to go through to get ready for a round. I remember my colleague Ryan Lavner did this story a few years ago at Augusta National about what does it take to get you ready for a round of golf. His trainer, Colby Tullier, he has to be there at 3 a.m. He has to make sure he's ready. It's going to be different from day to day.
Yeah.
Tiger's pointed this out. Good days, bad days. And even if it's a bad day, you still have to make it to the first tee and you still have to play. And so I think we cannot overlook how important this is going forward for Tiger Woods.